Hello and welcome to BIA Consulting's integration case study for student onboarding using Microsoft Azure Logic Apps. This is our third and final part of a series looking at modern integration technology. We call this Keep Calm and Automate Everything. What we're going to do today is take a look at how student information can be moved from an admission system, so in this case Slate, but it could be any alternative student admission system used by an institution. And that data is taken once the student has registered for a particular course and program into a learning management system, in this case Canvas, but again it could be any other third-party system. And of course in practice these systems could be from any sector. The principles are very much the same. What we're going to do is extract student-related data entered by the student, maybe through the website when they subscribe to a course, name and email address, this sort of information maybe, or a subset of this. And we're going to use something called Azure Logic Apps from Microsoft as a best practice example of this sort of technology. Essentially, what we've got is 4 workflows. We've got a polling workflow, a Slate workflow for the Slate system, a Canvas workflow for the learning management system, and a status workflow. And this is linked together through 3 different queues: a polling queue, a Canvas queue, and a status queue. So what happens in practice is that the system is designed to poll and fetch student admission data for new students using an API from the Slate system at a scheduled interval. This could be hourly, weekly, daily, whatever is appropriate for the organization. And that's the first workflow in our example here. If that polling finds some data, new student registrations, it's going to take that data from Slate. It's going to put it into an archive as a backup, but it's also going to move it across to the polling queue, the second step in this workflow. We then move on to the Slate workflow. What's going to happen here, first of all, is that new data in that polling queue that is arrived from Slate is going to be transferred over to the Canvas queue. And we're going to create sort of individual records for each of those students and each of the courses for which they're subscribed. The Canvas workflow then picks up, and those data records trigger a particular workflow in Canvas, essentially through, again, a standard API. Will create course enrollment records for each student for each course of each program in the learning management system, and that's the 6th workflow in this example. There's also a status workflow. This really keeps control of the whole thing, and the 7th step is to trigger that status workflow and update, in this case, an Excel file based on SharePoint, for example, that will create a log to record what has happened and trigger, for example, an email notification, and this could also include error data. So that really concludes the demonstration. 4 workflow areas, 8 steps, very straightforward. So what are the benefits of automating everything? And this particular case study, we use an example. Well, firstly, it removes dependency on staff presence. And of course, that is a particular challenge for many organizations today in the era of COVID-19. But it also reduces overall staff effort and also the recurring and monotonous tasks associated with this, often, for example, using Excel to extract, edit and upload data files manually. And of course, that sort of process can generate errors and therefore a need for reconciliations, which are avoided when the system is automated. We also have, for example, we can trigger these things as an appropriate time event. In this case, it was hourly, but it could be daily or weekly, and that's automated and of course will happen regardless of the human presence. And we also improve things like risk and compliance, maybe with security policies and best practice by having these automations. And typically we see that something like this can return on investment in around 6 to 9 months. That depends on exactly, of course, the process and the current process. So in this example, each cohort coming into the organization would generate something like 3 person days of effort on periodic basis to do these uploads using sort of Excel, and with around 20 cohorts per year, that's a saving of around 60 days, plus the qualitative improvements that we mentioned before. So CBIA is very much involved in helping our clients to develop systems integration strategies, for example, really identifying the next batch or phase maybe of potential integrations using our tools, approach, and experience. And we can recommend also which technologies are most appropriate for the organization given current investments and emerging technologies. We can help build a business case, for example, to justify these sorts of investments. And we can work with you to do maybe an initial proof of concept to show the benefits for this. And even beyond this, building, running, and operating your integrations as an outside service. So if you'd like to know more, please get in touch with us. Do take a look at our website and look for the other posts in our series, Keep Calm and Automate Everything. Thank you.